In this video, we are going to continue with our user form features and tools, and we're going to put a combo box in our user form. So right now, our user form has a checkbox that changes the background and a command button that exits or closes the user form. So going into our editor, we're going to double click user form 1 because we're going to insert this combo box on the same user form. Select combo box, then click and drag. Right click and we'll look at the properties. We're only going to have one combo box. The name of the combo box is combo box 1. What a combo box does is list different options that a user can select. If you're on Windows, you would add those options within the Item tab under the properties for the combo box. But unfortunately, on a Mac, it's not that simple. You have to add the items individually. But before we do that, let's go ahead and change the text within the combo box. We want it a little bit bigger, so select Font, and we'll put it to size 28. So when adding items to a combo box, we're going to have to add that within the user form module. So our user form is user form 1. Right click that and view the code for that user form. When you view that code, the close button and the checkbox relating to the background should appear. So either above those or beneath those, we're going to add the items into our combo box. So private subroutine, UserForm underscore initialize. So what this is saying is that when this user form is initialized or opened up, it's going to execute the statements that we write within the subroutine. The reason I wrote user form as opposed to the name of my user form, which is user form 1, is because that when initializing a user form, you're going to initialize it within the module for that user form. So regardless of the name for your user form, so regardless of the fact that my form is named user form 1, when I write that private subroutine to initialize it, I will use the word user form with a capital U and a capital F. Once that user form is initialized, I want my combo box to be filled. So my combo box name is combo box 1, and I'm going to type .list. So it's going to list my items within the combo box. And the easiest way to add items individually in a combo box on a map is with an array. So go ahead and type array. And what an array is, it's just a set of values that are similar. So it's useful for grouping values together and calling on those sets of values by the name of the array. But in our instance, we're going to use an array to list out what we want in the combo box. So first I want a default value, and then close it in quotes. Next on my list I want red, and then green, and finally blue. And then close that array with parentheses. So now when we run this, you can see that when I click the arrow on my combo box, default, red, green, and blue appear. When I select them though, nothing happens. If you have difficulties, if you type in a larger list and can't see all the items on your list, go into the properties for the combo box, scroll down to list rows, and change your maximum number there. Since I only have 4 options, my maximum number doesn't have to be 8, it can be 4. Although if you have a larger list row number than you do options, it doesn't affect the appearance. So if I was to write 1 for list row, when I look at my user form, I'm going to have to scroll through even more on my list because there's only one row that's listed. So I'm going to change the properties back to 4 so you can see all your options at once. And now we're going to manipulate what happens when a different option, in our case default red, blue, and green, are selected. What I want it to do is change the border of the user form. So go into the properties and go to the user form properties, and you can see the border color right now, this hex value H800000012. Go ahead and copy that because we're going to use that later. And now we want to change the border style so that it has a border. So scroll down to FM border style single, select that, and you will see that a small black border appears because black is the default color. Now we're going to add code to the combo box. You can either double click the combo box or right click and select view code. Notice that a private subroutine pops up with the name of your combo box _1 change. And that's saying that when you select an option within the combo box or the default option changes, that is when it will run the code, where it will run the statements within the subroutine. To change the color of the user form border. So if combo box 1 and the value of that is equal to red, because red was one of our options, then we want user form 1 dot border color to be equal to red. So RGB 25500. We have a couple more options. So else if combo box 1 dot value is equal to green, then we want the user form 1, because that's the name of our user form. We want the border color to be equal to RGB value 0 2550, because that would give us green. Combo box 1 dot value equals blue, then the RGB will be 00255. And last, we will have our else statement. And else is for if the default is selected. So we don't have to say the value equals default because there's only 4 options and we already have statements for the other 3. So we're just going to say else, meaning if default is selected, the user form 1 border color is going to be equal to our hex value, which we copied, and you can erase the ampersand on the end. And then we have to end our if statement with end if. So now, when we run the code, click the button to open up the form. Our background color will still change. You can see a small black border outlining the user form. And when you select red, the border changes to red. Green, it changes to green. Blue, the border changes to blue. And then back to the default, we'll be back to the black. So this video explained how to insert a combo box within a user form, how to populate that combo box, and how to use those members with an if statement.